this show recently, we've talked about why the right is fucking up the country and also why the left is fucking up the country, at least in terms of Democrats. You know, opinions vary on whether you can call them left. But so now I want to talk about the biggest issue with the country, the biggest cause of why things are so fucked up, which is you who's listening to this, the American voter.
Oh, I oughta. Oh, the audience. Oh.
Boo, American voter.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So often online, you'll see calls for stuff like, we should ban people over a certain age from serving in Congress. Well, guess what? You don't have to do that. You could just not vote for them, right? Like, they make it into Congress because people vote for them, even though they're super duper old, right? So clearly, this is what people want, right? Like, no matter how many rules you make about, like, don't be stupid, like, people will always find a way to be stupid, right? Like, you just gotta vote better.
Is this going to be a, all for humor purposes, we all conveniently kind of ignore huge swaths of, like, our political system?
No, we should talk about why that influences why people act the way they do.
Okay.
But ultimately, right,
What are you talking about? Why, what influences what?
So, for example, the Electoral College, like, disincentivizes turnout, right? Because, like,
Right.
people in California feel like the outcome is predetermined, so there's no point in voting. And so they don't vote, right?
Yeah, but that's not why we have
Stuff
old
like that.
people. Like, we have old people because the Democratic and Republican parties, they're systems. Like, you work your way up the system. You do favors for people, and then you get nominations within the party. Like, the people are selected based on favors that have been done and favor that's been curried. It's not like who the people want the most.
But it is to some extent, right? So I have to say, you know, I am just as guilty of this. Right? So, you know, maximum mea culpa. In the Democratic primary, right? I didn't want Joe Biden to win, but I basically assumed it was a foregone conclusion, and I didn't end up bothering to vote. And it turns out only 14 million people voted in the 2024 Democratic primary, right? So if all the people who didn't in the Democratic Party who didn't want Joe Biden to be president had, like, bothered to show up and vote, he probably wouldn't have won. Here's the most crushing example to me, right? If you ask people to name the top 3 issues, I'm not going to look at any polling, but probably the price of housing is going to be in there, right? And the price of housing is basically entirely determined by local elections, which have absolutely unbelievably, like, piss poor turnout, like, everywhere. Like, we're talking like 13% or something. So if everyone who, like, was upset about the price of housing, you know, showed up to the city council meeting and demanded zoning changes that would allow more housing to be built, then there would be cheaper housing because there'd be a much larger supply of housing. But instead, everyone just kind of passively accepts that it's just this way.
You know, in Australia, you are fined for not voting. You're required to vote.
Indeed. It does. I don't know enough about their system to say if it works or not, but...
Well, they have good turnout.
They would. I bet they would.
Here's the other point I want to bring up. If you don't vote, you're basically casting a vote for, like, whatever, I don't care. But if you're upset with how things are going, which it turns out lots of people are, right? Like, if you just show up and on every, like, write-in candidate, you just, like, write Farts McGee, like, at least you're showing up and registering your dissatisfaction with the system. So I looked up polling on this issue, and so YouGov, most recently, their 27th July 2025 poll says that 54.5% of Americans think the country is on the wrong track, compared to 38.5% who thinks it's going in the right direction. And polling all the way back, they only go back to 2009. Not one single time in all of that time have more people thought the country was going in the right direction. And yet, we're a democracy, right? Theoretically, people could vote so that it would go in the right direction. And we all just kind of accept that it sucks somehow. I don't know. You know, they just have beat us down.
All right.
So I think we should start a movement, dude. Every voter should vote on every issue in every election. I don't care what you vote. Just vote for something.
I care. I care how you vote. I want people who vote against me to not vote.
Yeah,
I want to
no,
win. I don't
yeah.
think it's a neutral issue. I think the things that we fight for are more important than voter turnout.
Right, but one thing
Like,
that
I
we
think
vote...
fighting fascism is more important than everyone
But
voting.
I want to believe that most people disapprove of fascism, and so if we had better turnout, fascists
You
would do
just said
worse.
38% of people are fine with fascism. Like,
38.5 is a big minority, dude. So that means if everyone voted, they'd be losing 60-40, which is crushing.
it's a huge amount of people. Like,
Yes.
380 million Americans, 3% of that. It's like 100
Also-
million
just because you think that it's the wrong direction, like if you only have two choices, doesn't mean that you wouldn't prefer it over what you see as another even more wrong direction. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Danny. The way I think about this is we want quality representation. That means that like people's genuine views should be reflected by our representatives. And we also want people to be informed, people to be knowledgeable, people to be virtuous. And like these two things both need to be worked on incrementally, and both are horribly lacking. And so, yes,
So I do
I
have
no
a-
problem with you picking one and focusing on that for a segment. I'm okay with it.
I did come up with an idea for a solution for this, which is after every presidential election, we have a second runoff election where everybody votes on whether or not they think the person who won the presidential election is better than a randomly selected citizen at doing the job.
There we go. Bring it
So
back to sortition.
I
Hell
think
yeah.
I'm not so. And then if they lose, you just start the whole presidential election over again, dude.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But you don't let either of those candidates run again.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have the same people again.
Yeah, I'm down. Unfortunately, this is a constitutional amendment away.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
yeah.
So seems pretty out of reach, but
something to share.
I'm just surprised to hear you on this tip, because I feel like we're past if everyone voted, then the things that I want would happen. Like, just
I
like,
think a lot-
haven't you been betrayed enough by the American people? You started off feeling betrayed by the American people.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt that if everyone voted, I would not get the things that I want. But, like, I think that that's okay, because I do want a system where, like, other opinions other than mine, like, are heard, and over time, with people getting more involved and learning more, both I and they can improve their opinions, and we can converge on policies that work really well.
also I think that if everyone voted, I would get more of the things that I want and less of the things I don't want, even if it's not everything.
That may well be. I would prefer a representative system to this non-representative system. But
I think also it has like a really bad sort of like negative feedback loop that we've gotten caught in, where so like people don't vote in the primary except for like really dedicated partisans. And so like you have a very small amount of people choosing who the candidates are. And then you end up with really uninspiring candidates, right? Like, so Joe Biden versus Donald Trump is really like, these are the two best men, the greatest minds in the United States of America. No, right? Like something's all fucked up in our system.
I don't think
How
that's
can
even
everyone
true.
be-
Like that's true for the Democrats, but I would say that Trump, to his fans, is an inspiring figure. A lot of people are
quick
very
plug.
excited for him.
Quick plug, a book by my sister on null voting in Latin America. Basically, voting, but not putting in a candidate to register your dissatisfaction.
Yes, exactly. Hell yeah, dude.
Is-
Brilliant.
She's not advocating for it. She talks about it. I mean, like, because for example, there's lots of like influence campaigns that sort of encourage people to null vote, right? Because you're wasting your vote, right? I think you should pick the less of two evils. That's what you get, and you should do that. But anyway, a shameless plug for my sister, political science professor at Purdue.
Yeah,
A good writer, almost as good as me.
I feel like I'm floundering, man. I know that the opposite bugs me more. I will say that. Or, I'm in the DSA, and like there are definitely people who are anti-electoralism. Like, we should protest this election to make some point or something. I'm not going to make their point for them. I feel like that's foolish. Like, it's such a minimal action that you should do at least that bare minimum and also something else. But like, I don't know. Everyone vote. It's a huge mountain to climb. And at the peak, you're getting
Australia level quality of democracy.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
it's
at
like,
least
okay,
they haven't had a
everyone votes.
candidate try to overthrow the government. It seems better than ours.
yeah.
They haven't been around as long. Give them time.
Mr. Prime
Yeah.
Minister. Huh? What, Dave? I'm just thinking of that Australia episode of The Simpsons. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so Danny, you're encouraging people to go vote.
Yeah,
Is that what
dude.
you're saying?
Yes,
I
exactly.
would also say people should run for office.
That too. You know, like the Romans had Caligula imposed on them because they lived in, you know, like a monarchy sort of situation. Like, we don't have to vote for Caligula. You know, we could vote for a good leader if we wanted to.
But damn it if we don't keep voting for Caligula. You know what I mean? We have had Caligula in 2 non-consecutive terms.
Yeah, it's all right. We're gonna do better, guys. We can do it.
Caligula
Let's go.
won the popular vote
USA.
last time.
All right, guys,
Fucking
we're moving
shameful is
forward.
what it is.
That's all right. We're gonna do better next time. People are realizing, oh wait, he is a liar. Oh wait, he is really stupid and an asshole. We're gonna do better next time.
Wait, he's
Get him next time.
actively stripping away the power of elections. Oh, wait. He made a
Up for
huge...
sex criminals.
Yeah, he
Wait,
he
his
vastly
cankles are
expanded
veiny.
the power of immigrations and custom enforcement and is pursuing removing citizenship from people. Wait, you know, like it's
Etc.
Wait, he's increasing the national debt when he ran on decreasing it.
yeah. Put that in the category of like indignities, not like worried about there not being a next election, you know. Oh man, there was such a good indignity. What was it? He paved over the Rose Garden.
Yeah. And he's building a $200 million ballroom, dude. You know, the government is too poor to pay for teachers and stuff and helping poor people, but we can afford a $200 million ballroom. Kind of undermines the message, doesn't it?
I wonder if he's good at dancing.
Are you more or
I would bet
less
he's not.
mad that he's paying for it with private donations? Because it's
More
just
mad.
bribery, right? But like,
Yeah.
do you care? Like, I don't know. I mean, in this
Yes,
case, wouldn't you
I care.
rather it was just a bribe than just stealing taxpayer money?
No, it's worse that it's a bribe. I didn't know that it was a bribe.
Well,
That's way
government
worse.
shit should be paid for with government money. It keeps things honest.
Right. But I mean, the government should never be approving a $200 million
exactly.
ballroom.
Maybe if every citizen is rich and happy, we could afford the $200 million ballroom.
I mean, in the abstract, it's not the worst idea to have an event space in the like chief executives.
Did we
Like-
not have one before?
That's what they said. You know, didn't have a big enough
Have
event
we
space.
never had events before? I'm sure we have.
But wait, I've totally watched events that have been hosted at the White House. They have a fine space. Like I watched like Lin-Manuel Miranda previewing Hamilton for Obama. Like you can like they have a decent sized little concert area.
The next president should demolish it. And you might say it's a waste. You might say it's a waste of resources, but I think he should just this shit's despicable and it should be demolished.
I don't like to get too bogged down on it. It's the kind of distraction that takes us away from worrying about people getting shipped off to Saykot or South Sudan
Exactly.
or whatever.
Exactly. We got to be focused.
At the
Yeah.
same time, though, this is exactly the kind of stuff that like grabs the popular imagination, right? Like think like the French Revolution, like the affair of the diamond necklace or whatever. People are starving, and yet the queen spends thousands of francs on a diamond necklace.
You know, let them eat cake is like basically the only line that people remember from the French Revolution. Like it's up there with liberté, égalité, fraternité, you know.
Probably above that in the United States.
Yeah, certainly.
Everyone vote. It's going to lead to much better outcomes. Even if you just vote, you know, the null vote, anything. Vote in your local election for more housing. These problems that afflict us don't have to. We could vote to not have them. So many of them,
get
at
involved.
least. Not all of them are perfectly solvable, but so many are. And people have just given up. Just vote. Just do it. It's not that hard. Just do it. Every election. Just vote.
Let's do it.
More voting.
Do it. It feels like, I don't know.
I mean, I yeah, sure.
Vote, but vote smart. How about this? Research and vote. Apply logic and then vote.
That's step 2. Once we get people
Phil?
voting, then we'll try to get them to vote better.
Mm-hmm. 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 I just my instinct is that if people vote for the sake of voting as an obligation, they won't put in the necessary thought to like vote in their interest.
Damn, there we go. Phil, the anti-democratic.
No,
Socialist.
anti-democratic. I'm for democracy. I'm just like uninterested voting like doesn't actually serve democracy.
That's why I'm trying to get people interested in voting.
But no, you're interested in voting, not interested in what they're voting for. Like
I mean, I
you're
think
saying
people
just
would naturally
vote.
be
Like
interested. Yeah.
I think
He's addressing one problem at a time, right?
yeah, but I mean, like I think that
really think of,
that
like-
problem is less important than getting the candidates who represent you to.
I mean,
But they're usually
like,
running. People just don't vote for them, right? Like in the primaries, there's like you feel there's no one who represents you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the primaries, not everything has a primary.
But the big important elections do. Although I'm trying to say that every election's important, so that's true. But generally
Yeah,
the
I
ones
mean-
without a primary have a low bar to entry, so more
Or
people.
these
can
like
run.
important issues, like the most important issue you mentioned, like local elections matter a lot more for
Housing.
your general ability to feed and clothe and house yourself. You don't get a primary for that usually. That's just selected by the local political machine. So like you need to be a part of that. Like the voting
Yeah, that's
is
right. So-
secondary.
That's right. Like voting is like one specific type of involvement, and it's a very low effort and also relatively low impact. Like you're saying, right? Most of us live in gerrymandered districts, and like the chance of your vote being decisive is very low, etc.
But the chance of
like,
everyone's votes all together being decisive is very high.
That's right. So it's one of these, it's one of these classic games where you want where people need to act individually, irrationally, in order to get a collective good outcome. That's voting. But if you could just get better candidates, then it wouldn't even actually matter how many people show up. Like you could coin toss between two superior candidates, and you would expect a better outcome than if everyone thoughtfully voted between two shitty candidates. So anyway, vote. I don't think we should be.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm
Jamie's
bumping
not
up
declaring
so.
this.
I don't know why I'm bumping up so much against this. Like I have definitely said before, I don't actually care like if the right candidate were selected, if it were a true democracy, that you would get the benefit of what everyone wanted. And if what everyone wanted ended up being bad, then people wouldn't like it and they would vote for something else. Like that's kind of the line of thinking here, but I don't know. David came and did a episode in person, and now I've caught the contrarian. Like,
Nice. It's all good. All right. We'll move on then.
okay.
Okay.